Hey everybody, Gunn here with S1E4 Canine. Welcome to Let's Talk Dog. It is Animal Care and Control Week here in Batavia, New York. We are at the Genesee County Animal Shelter in beautiful Batavia. We are going to speak to some of the animal control officers that are here and one of the people from the organization of Volunteers for Animals. So come on in and join me and Let's Talk Dog. Hey guys, Gunny here with S1E4 Canine. I am now inside the Genesee County Animal Shelter with the animal control officers, Sarah and Catherine. Or you like to be called Kathy? Catherine. So, all right, so we'll start with you. All right. Okay. So Sarah, so tell me, how did you come about becoming an animal control officer?
All right. I went to school to be a licensed veterinary technician and have always been working with animals. So I decided that, when this became available, that probably be a cool thing to do. So.
And how long have you been here now?
Like 3.5 years.
But what everybody kind of wants to know, do you enjoy your job?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Catherine, what about you? How long have you been here? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I've been here almost 3.5 years, and I don't know how I ended up here. I was in the Marine Corps. I've done a lot of different things. After I got out, I trained horses, and when I moved up here, went back to school, got my degrees in environmental science and biology, did some different things, and then I was home with kids for a while, and figured this would be a good fit, kind of bringing my military in and all my experience with animals through the years.
Just let everybody know she's a jarhead just like I am. So that's kind of why we get along.
Yep.
So do you have to have a degree to do this? There's no degree required?
Both of us do, but that doesn't mean you have to.
I'm going to ask one question because one of my viewers asked about the shelter. Are you a no-kill shelter?
We are considered a no-kill shelter here. It just doesn't always, it's not always what people think that means. It doesn't mean we never have to euthanize something. But when we do, it's not because it's been here too long. We don't euthanize for space or, for length of time that it's been here. If we have to, it's for severe medical or severe behavioral issues. So I think for the no-kill designation, that has to be
like above, I think, 90%, which we last year
release rate,
was 94% release rate.
No. All right, guys. Well, I'll let you know. I've done some volunteer work here, and I've seen the animals come in and come out. So do you just get a call and you just kind of run out like super women and go grab them? And what do you do?
Yeah. So, if there's a call in the area, they would obviously call dispatch, and then dispatch would send us out to wherever that location is. And
so when she talks about dispatch, they're actually covered by the Genesee County Sheriff's Department. That's kind of the big umbrella that they're under, right?
Yep.
So that's the custody, care, and control. So that's why they have the nice little patches on their arms that say Genesee County Sheriff's Department. We call them the dog police or cat police or animal police or whatever you want to call them. So since I have done some stuff, inside here in the shelter, you really kind of have a high adoption rate. Like no one really stays here that long.
No.
And I absolutely love that about this place because they come in, they go to one side of the shelter and they kind of stay there. If they're a stray, if somebody has to turn them in for some reason, if they just have to turn them in because of health issues or they just can't take care of them anymore, they stay on a certain side for how long?
So if they're coming in as a stray, they have to be held for 5 days so that we can try to locate their owner. So they have to stay here for 5 days, and then once the stray hold time is up, then we start getting them ready to be vetted so that we can make them available for adoption.
So do you actually take them to vets to get them ready? You spay, neuter, all their vaccines before they're adopted?
Yep.
So who takes care of all that?
We do some of it. Sarah draws blood on pretty much everything that comes through here.
So she's a vampire.
Yeah.
You're a vampire.
Everything, we're checking for some of the diseases, both for the dogs and the cats. So we run some tests here. So she's the one that kind of has to do that, being the vet tech. Some of the vaccines that we do right here. except for the rabies vaccine. We have to have a vet do that, but it's either a vet that comes here or we take them to one of the others. And then the spay and neuters happen out at the vet, so we're the ones that usually take them for that.
So they stay on one side for 5 days. After they're cleared from over there, then you move them over to another side, and that's where the actual, like I call them civilians, the actual public can come in and actually view them, kind of walk them, pet them, get used to them. So if it's one they want, what do they have to do? Say, I come in, I want that dog. You know, you heard that term, can I pet that dog? You know? So, I mean, what do they do? I want that dog. So what now?
You would have to fill out an application, and your application would then have to be approved, and then we can move forward with the adoption application. So, and if you lived in Genesee County, you would need to have the dog license before it left.
It's a lot of stuff you have to know. You just don't walk in, pick up a dog, and walk out.
Correct.
So they have to be approved. What do you look for when approving someone for an animal coming from the shelter?
So some of the things is just making sure that it's going to be a good fit for the person. You have the particular animal that they want, and that it's going to be a good fit for the animal, knowing that some of them maybe came in, you know, with some different traumas or different issues that they've been through. We want to make sure it's also going to be a good place for them. To make sure that they, you know, are in a spot that are going to be able to provide vet care moving forward. We want the animals leaving out of here, you know, ready to go, that they shouldn't need anything right away, but down the road, obviously every animal is going to need vet care. Landlord approval is one that is always big for us because there's
you just don't bring a big dog home and not tell anybody,
and
right?
sometimes people don't realize that their landlords won't allow it, or that there's a big fee attached to having a pet. So we like to actually make contact with the landlords to make sure that we're all on the same page and they're going to be allowed to have it. We'd hate for an animal to get home to its new situation and right away not be able to stay.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's a lot. I mean, that's totally understandable. But it's good that you kind of vet everything before you let an animal go out here. Because like you said, you don't know what that animal's been through before. And you definitely don't want to put them back in the same situation. So I know that you also have a prison program where you send the animals to a local prison. We won't name which one, but just a local prison somewhere. Because we're in the prison capital of the world here, people. I'm not going to lie to you. You know, and how long do they stay there?
The program's now 8 weeks. It used to be a 12-week program, but they've moved it with a different trainer. Now it's 8 weeks. And part of that is they think they can do all the basic training. It's, you know, kind of a better time frame for the dogs. Sometimes when we have one that goes into the program and then people are looking at, well, I can't even meet it for 12 weeks, and they end up maybe finding a different dog. By the time the 12 weeks runs out, you know, it was actually making it harder. So with the 8-week program, they can do all of the, you know, do all the basic training that they're hoping to do with them, and then make them available for adoption. And that also will shorten the time up and allow more dogs to benefit from the program.
That's awesome. That's awesome. There are costs for everything, you know, to adopt, and I'll put that up. I'll put a link to the shelter, you know, and all the costs that's involved with everything. But you also have an organization inside the shelter that kind of does everything. And it's called Volunteers for Animals. If you've never heard about it, it's a wonderful organization that comes in, actually cleans the cages, walks the dogs, basically takes care of the house. What else do they do?
They're the ones that are actually responsible for the Path to Home program, the prison program that we are just talking about. They cover a lot of the medical expenses, all those vet appointments that our animals from here from the shelter are doing. They're the ones that plan and coordinate the voucher program to help low-income people out in our community get their pets spayed and neutered. They run the SOS clinics, which is spay or strays, helping feral cats get spayed and neutered and vaccinated. They do a little bit of everything, help coordinate here. We have people that work just with kind of kittens, like getting kittens out into foster homes and managing all that and all the care that they're going to need until they get adopted out. Like I said, everything from dog walkers to kitten coordinators to people that are, you know, they do everything here. They do a lot of things to really help us out. They bring some of the dogs up from down south because here is a county facility. We can only bring dogs in from our own county. If we're picking up strays or if we're taking surrenders, they have to be from ours, but they are able to, since they're a rescue organization, they're able to pull some from areas that really have a high need.
I just saw one in the
on
back that's actually from Kentucky. You had one here earlier that's from my home state of Tennessee, and that's the one that had the cherry eye.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Did that one get adopted?
Yeah, you got a great
See,
home.
that's awesome. I'm telling you, they
Got that-
don't stay here long. I'm
Got the
telling
cherry eye fixed and
that's amazing. I see some of the pictures you have on the wall. I see one dog I believe was here, went to U.S. Customs. That's crazy. A dog from a shelter is now at U.S. Customs and Border Patrol. I mean, that's amazing. So that means that you do a lot of good work here. If there's dogs here, I totally support the Adopt Don't Shop program, because here the animals are the one thing that will basically love you more than you love yourself. And I'll let you know I do love myself. Okay. And you know, they'll love you more than you love yourself. So I totally support the Adopt Don't Shop. You know, some animals have just a bad life, you know, and they're either abandoned or somebody just drops them off somewhere or leaves them on a doorstep, you know, and that's it. But you guys go out and get them and basically give them a second chance at life. So I commend you. My viewing audience commends you. And happy Animal Care and Control Week. You know, I come in, they're chewing down on pizza because the sheriff of Genesee County brought it to them. So why not? It's a freebie, right? No, somebody pay for that. We're not going to get into all that. But guys, look, I appreciate you for me being able to come in here. And this is Let's Talk Dog. Okay. So, all right, guys, I'm Gunny. This is Scentwise K9. Let's Talk Dog. These are the animal control officers of the Genesee County Sheriff's Department Animal Control. So give it up for them, you know, and just like, share, follow, and definitely take a screenshot because they need it. Okay. All right, guys. We'll see you later. Stay tuned.